Now we're going to invite Reverend Rose Banner to say a short prayer.
Let's bow our heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you in the mighty name of Jesus to give you thanks and praise, to glorify you, to magnify you, and to bless your holy name. This morning we stand in agreement and we bless this diaspora meeting in the name of Jesus. Lord, the organizer as a meeting in the name of Jesus. Everyone that come here, that you, God, you bless us with something from. Let us receive something. Let us not leave without what we need this morning in the name of Jesus. And these few days from now until Saturday, let there be no accident, no incident in the name of Jesus. Keep us healthy. And Lord, we lift up the Prime Minister of Belize right now in the name of Jesus, the House of Representatives, all ministers, cabinet members in the name of Jesus, leader of the opposition. We bless them in the name of Jesus. And we ask you to guide our loving country Belize and bless all of us. Guide the government, bless, provide, protect in the name of Jesus. We thank you and we praise you. Have your way, Holy Spirit, in our lives and in this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much for that, Reverend. So over the next 3 days, we will be having this panel discussion, the investment forum, and on Saturday, we're going to be having a gala dance. Concurrently with what we have in this room, we have a business showcase room, and in that business showcase room, Belizean vendors are able to show their products and their services. We also have a land clinic and an immigration clinic that's happening at the same time. So a lot of things are happening. We're moving and shaking. We're doing things together as a Belizean collective. Can I get a clap for that? Thank you. So we want to also at this point say a very heartfelt thank you to everyone who has supported this initiative with us. We would like to also recognize the people and the organizations that help to support the summit and has been helping us prepare for the summit and will be helping us over the next couple of days. Thanks so very, very much thank you to Honorable John Briceño, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Investment, Civil Aviation, and Immigration. Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Cordell Hyde, Minister of Natural Resources, Petroleum and Mining. Honorable Kareem Musa, Minister of Home Affairs and New Growth Industries. Honorable Robert Ferguson, Minister of Transport, Youth and Sports. Honorable Dr. Shine Barrow, Leader of the Opposition. His Lordship Earl Trapp, Mayor of San Ignacio and Santa Elena. His Lordship Carlos Galvez, Mayor of Punta Gorda. Ms. Nicole Solano, CEO of Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Ms. Tanya Santos Neal, CEO in the Ministry of Immigration, Ms. Yvette Gentle, Vice Consul, Consulate General of Belize, Ms. Sandia Murphy, Ambassador of Diaspora Relations, Dr. Lira Amendares, Executive Director of Beltrade, and also all the representatives from the Ministries of Tourism and Diaspora Relations, Natural Resources, Immigration, representatives of all the municipal governments, and all other supporting organizations. Thank you very much. So now we'll ask Ambassador of Diaspora Relations, Ms. Sandia Murphy, to give the official opening of the summit. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes. Well, with protocols having been established, I would like to say it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you all to the very first of its kind, the Belize Diaspora Summit 2024. Is this better? Yes. Okay. Is that better? Yes. Okay. Today marks a significant milestone in our ongoing journey to strengthen the ties between Belize and our Belizean diaspora community. Thank you all for being here today. A very special thank you to the Belize Diaspora Summit organization, Ms. Aria Lightfoot, Mr. Michael Devon Young, Ms. Reshma Eckert, and the entire team and all the volunteers for finally bringing this initiative to life, despite the setbacks you experienced by the pandemic. Your presence here today signifies your commitment to Belize and your shared desire to contribute to the development and prosperity of our beloved nation. Our diaspora is a powerful force, rich in talent, rich in knowledge and resources. It is through gatherings like these that we harness our collective strength and make a meaningful impact. This summit is a celebration of our shared heritage, a testament to our unity, and a platform for collaboration. Over the next few days, we will engage in meaningful discussion, share innovative ideas, and explore new avenues for partnership. We are paving the way for a brighter future for generations to come. As Ambassador for Diaspora Relations, my role is to serve as a bridge between Belize and the global diaspora. I have witnessed firsthand the immense potential and goodwill that exists within our community. From supporting education and healthcare initiatives to fostering economic development and cultural exchange, the contributions of our diaspora are invaluable. Let us embrace the summit as an opportunity to connect, collaborate, and create. Let us forge new partnerships, strengthen existing ones, and work together towards our common goal of a thriving Belize. I am confident that with your continued support and active participation, we will build a stronger Belize. Remember, there is power in unity. I wish you all a productive and inspiring summit. Again, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. So at this time, we'd like to start with our very first panel of the day. This panel will be focused on the pioneers and evolution of the diaspora. Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. I'm so sorry. We are also having opening remarks from the CEO in the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. Please, CEO Nicole Solano, please join us. I'm so very sorry for that.
Good morning, everyone. Definitely a pleasure to be here. I see a lot of very distinguished guests in the room, Very, very happy to see our mayors here from San Ignacio, Santa Elena, Punta Gorda, so many Belizeans, our ambassador, our teams. You want me to hold it? Hello. Yes. Okay, I'll do like the Honorable Anthony Mala. He normally comes out with his mic. And I do want to let you all know that I bring specific greetings from him. The Honorable Anthony Mahler, the Minister for Tourism and Diaspora Relations, was to be here. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it, but sends me as his deputy to share with all of you the good news of what's happening within Belize and all of the things that we're doing. The ambassador mentioned it. It's in the theme of this event, unity. Unity. That's what this is all about, right? Bringing the Belizeans together at home and abroad together so that we can work to develop Belize. There's one thing that we all have in common. We all love Belize. Belizeans the world over, doesn't matter where you live, whether you live within the boundaries of Belize or whether you live outside the boundaries of Belize, we all love Belize. We all want the best for Belize. We all want to move Belize forward. So that's what really brings the power of this event, and these types of events allow us to come together and allow us to do that. The Diaspora Relations Unit within the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations has been in effect now for almost 4 years. I won't spend too much time talking about it because there's a panel discussion to go into detail on that. But what I want you all to know is that over the last 4 years, we have had the opportunity to visit Belizeans across the United States in particular, and then in last month we were visiting Belizeans in the UK. We're getting out there, we're hearing from Belizeans around the world, and there's one thing, as I said before, we all love Belize. Everybody wants to see what they can do to help Belize. There's a buzz, there's an excitement, there's energy, and I see an increasing amount of energy about what it is that we can do together. So I won't stay too long. I really just wanted to let you all know how excited we are within the government of Belize to see this kind of advancement with the diaspora. There are a lot of people that have a lot of ideas. There are a lot of people in the diaspora that haven't been home for a long time. We see people and we ask, well, when last have you been home? And people are saying, well, I'm trying to get home. I haven't been home. That's one of the messages I want to bring here. If you haven't been home, please schedule a trip to return to Belize. There's a lot of, we're responsible for tourism as well, right? So I can't not put that tourism plug in there. Belizeans are traveling home as tourists now. When you look at all of the advertising that you see for Belize, and you know you're a Belizean, and you see these beautiful images of the Blue Hole and all of the beautiful natural resources within Belize, you feel excited, you want to share that, you want to come home, you want to enjoy that for yourself, you want to talk about it. So we encourage you to come home to visit. We encourage you to come home to invest. We've been talking to investors, Belizean investors, for years. A lot of Belizeans want to come home and build properties, build businesses. We definitely encourage that. We're here to support Belizean investors. There are a lot of professionals in the diaspora. There are a lot of people who want to share their unique talents and their gifts with Belize. So our ministry is there to help you to connect with Belize. We help you with what it is you need, and we help you to connect in whatever way that you need. So over the next couple of days, we look forward to the discussions. We look forward to getting a better understanding of what you need from us, what we need from you, and working together, communication, collaboration, and unity. So with that, I thank you sincerely for being here, and our team is here for whatever you may need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. So now we will start with the first panel discussion. What's the saying? If you measure once, cut twice, measure once, measure twice, cut once. And that's not what I'm doing right now. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first panel. And the way the panels are going to work is that we will have a moderator who's going to lead the discussion, and then we'll have a panelist that will engage in the discussion. We have a couple of panels for today, and at the very end of the day, we're going to have an open discussion where we expect participation from everyone, and you bring up the issues that you have, and you ask questions, general questions to our panelists. So with that said, can I ask our moderator, Dr. Nicole Ramsey, to join us on the panel? And then we will also ask our other panelists, Ambassador Sandia Murphy, Nuri Akbar, Ray Gongara, and Aisha Lang to join us as well. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Moderator.
Hello, hello. Hello. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first panel of the day, Pioneers, Thinking of the History of the Belizean Diaspora. I am Dr. Nicole Ramsey. I am Los Angeles native, born to Belizean parents, so I'm really excited to be here. Everything's coming full circle. Am I supposed to do the bio with me? Okay. I'm currently living in Austin, Texas. I'm a newly assistant professor at the University of Texas, Austin. I focus on Black Central America, migration, the diaspora, with a specific focus on Belize. So again, bringing everything full circle. And I have a PhD in African diaspora studies, so it's very apt that I'm here with everyone from all corners of the diaspora to talk about this. So with that said, I'll pass it on this way, and maybe everyone can introduce themselves, a little bit about what they do, and then we'll get started with the discussion.
Good morning. I am Sandia Murphy. I am the Ambassador for Diaspora Relations through the Ministry of Tourism and Diaspora Relations. And I am here to support, engage, and connect with the diaspora.
Live? Is this live? Yes, all right. Ray Gongara, born and grow and bred and everything from Belize. Now living in Florida. My beautiful wife here with me, Veronica, and my sister Linda. Have been a member of various Belize organizations and continue to be member of a number of Belize organizations. I promote a lot of Belizean information and events and activities via electronic messages. So if you care to be a part of that, kindly share your email address with me and I'll get you on my mailing list. And this is not about me today, ladies and gentlemen. This is about the diaspora and where it came from and where it's going to. So thank you for being here.
Good morning. My name is Nyasha Lang. I am a first-generation Belizean living in New York City. My connection to Belize is obviously here through my lineage, my parents, my grandparents, but my work currently is in the film industry. I work as a consultant and also a documentary storyteller in my own right. And a lot of the work that I'm engaged in is around what we call impact storytelling, really bringing together stories with partners, social justice institutions, corporations, and folks who want to get their message out and create an impact in the community. Glad to be here.
Greetings. Greetings to all my brothers and sisters. I am Nuri Akbar. Been involved in the Los Angeles Belizean community for over 40 years of activist work. It's good to see my brothers and sisters in the audience and those who are listening live stream across the globe and at home in Belize. Hopefully this conference will be a beginning to resolving some of the issues of reuniting our people and maximizing our capital to the benefit of our nation. Thank you.
All right. All right, thank you so much. So To get started, we have everyone up here who has varying relationships with Belize, and especially with the U.S., from Florida to New York, and then here in Los Angeles. So I kind of wanted to start thinking about the historical context and migration patterns. So thinking more personally. So I guess, how has a diaspora, migration, being Belizean, influenced you in your careers and your trajectories? So we have people that are interested in storytelling, political advocacy, activism, organizing. So pretty much, how did you come to this career through kind of your understanding or relationship to Belize and the Belizean diaspora?
Okay, I'll begin. Again, greetings to my brothers and sisters. This conference is very significant. As I sit here, I'm feeling some emotions because I've witnessed this before, 40 years ago, with the formation of the Belize Consortium, which was the brainchild of Dr. Edward Leng. Many of those from that generation has now passed on. And so here we are, 40 years later. And it's almost like we are recreating the wheel. And so my presence here today has to do with some fundamental issues that need to be resolved in order for us to bring our people together. We cannot use the rationale that it's difficult. We cannot use the rationale that it's complicated. We cannot use the rationale that we have time. Time is not guaranteed to anyone. The words of Dr. King, lamenting on time, he said, "We cry out desperately for time to pause in her passage, but time is adamant to every plea and rushes on." Unquote. Time does not wait for none of us. So we have lost an entire generation from 1985 to now who have sacrificed to bring our people together, who are no longer here. So today I will speak on their behalf because they cannot speak for themselves any longer. So what are the fundamental things that needs to be done? First and foremost on that list, all the impediments that give second-class citizenship to Belizeans living in the diaspora has to be eliminated. Full citizenship rights is guaranteed to all Belizean, natural-born Belizean, whether they live in Belize or whether they live abroad. We have been kept from participating in some very critical issues in Belize. We were not allowed to participate in the Constitutional Conference that is now going on. We were not allowed to vote in the ICJ referendum. We are not allowed to vote as absentee voters. Just a few weeks ago, Mexico had its presidential elections. And here you can see thousands of Mexican citizens lining up to vote in their elections in Mexico. We are behind. We are slow. We are a slow people. So all I'm emphasizing today is that let this conference not become a political posturing. Don't let this conference become just symbolic. Let it be the beginning of making these changes that is absolutely necessary to reunite our people. And by reuniting our people, we are now able to maximize their creative force, their creative energies. We now have more options to tap into the wide range of Belizean talents that we have not been maximizing over the last quarter century since we gained independence. So for me, my interest here is that this conference produces concrete issues that we can walk away from here and say that Belize is now moving in the right direction. So when the public servants arrive, let's have that conversation so that when you return to the National Assembly, you bring these issues forward and make it into law. That's what needs to come out of this conference. So I am here as a Belizean, just like thousands of other Belizeans who have been living abroad. The Prime Minister said that we contribute 10% of the gross domestic product in remittance. During the time of the recent COVID shutdown, it was money coming from Belizeans abroad that kept families from starvation in Belize. So what more convincing do we need to do to understand this? We are living in some very dangerous time. Belize currently is waiting for the International Court of Justice to render a verdict. And there is nobody in Belize that can guarantee to you and me that we will not lose territory. This is about to happen. We don't know what the verdict is going to be. This is a dangerous time we are living in. You all have witnessed what is happening in the Middle East over territory, over land, over citizenship, over human rights. But we are walking, daydreaming, thinking that this perhaps cannot happen to Belize. Let us be prepared. Let us be conscious. And let us begin to remove the various impediments that can unify our people. In closing, I will give recognition to some of the pioneers here. Most of the time when we talk about pioneers, we forget our parents. My parents were pioneers. They came here and established a foundation for me. And most of you can relate to this. Your parents came before you and established a base for you. So I will begin by recognizing all the parents who came, made an embarkation into the unknown, made the sacrifices so that another generation can stand on its feet. And I'm hesitant to call names because I know we cannot call all the names. But I will mention a few names that has impacted my life. Dr. Edward Leng, Brother Ishmael Shabazz, Brother Hubert Pipersberg, Brother Edgar X. Richardson, and those at home, Brother Evan X. Hyde, who stepped forward and promoted in his newspaper, the Amandala, the need for the diaspora to be embraced. And to my brother here, Mose Hyde, this is his brainchild. He floated this idea to us over 2 years ago. And he went back to Belize, and he was consistent in making this a reality. So I give you recognition for staying the course. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for that. I think you provided a lot of historical context too, which was one of the main kind of themes of this conference, this summit, thinking about diaspora, thinking of its historical origins, not necessarily just thinking of diaspora as people that have moved, but also people that are still there, right? So I wanted to repeat the question for those who may need some reminder. So thinking about how has diaspora migration influenced the work that you do in your respective fields, which there are many here.
I'm ready to go. First, as he said, he's not calling him. I like to do a roll call. Representatives from the organization Breda, are you here? Here. Chicago Belize Association, are you here? Mr. Linsford Pitts, Mr. Leroy Villamil. Bay Area Belize Association, Miss Mildred Pakeman Rose, you here? Consortium for Belize Development, Errol Elrington, Jorge Clark, Verona Burks, Kim Hernandez, are you here? Belize Association of South Florida, Darnell Bulla, are you here? Belize Association of Central Florida, Jason Guild, Aria Lightfoot, are you here? Aria. Rishma, are you here? Yes. Optimist Club Belize Diaspora, Charles Lino, are you here? Build Belize Incorporated, are you here? Yes, you're here, and I am here also. Where are these people? Where are these people? And we're supposed to, through sustained discussion, strategic collaboration, and consensus-based decision-making, this summit will be an essential vessel in advocating and crafting a modern and progressive partnership that will change the landscape of diaspora leadership at home and abroad. 100 years ago, in 1924, this is 2024, significantly, in Chicago, Mr. Selvin Young, who wrote the words for Lands of the Gods, Mr. Samuel Haynes, who put the music to the words. It's the other way. Okay, all right, correct. I can be corrected. This is history, and it's not written. So Samuel wrote the words, and Selvin wrote the music to our national anthem. And in 1924, along with Mr. Edward Lang Sr., three gentlemen got together 100 years ago, like today, and they formed the British Honduras Association. Significant. In 1985, as the brother said, in November, in Los Angeles here, Edward Lang Jr. formed the Consortium for Belizean Development. Wrote the bylaws. You go on and, hey, there's a historian. Me, I just throw it out there to let you know it was there. 2008. The Consortium of Belize for Development came to Florida and had one of their biggest meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2010, July 7th, to July 9th was an inaugural, claimed to be, inaugural Belize Diaspora Summit convened in Washington, bringing together Belizean consulates and honorary consulates from throughout the USA and Canada. And during that historic event, the diaspora desk was introduced with Patrick Menzies and Adalbert Tucker, who played key roles in the diaspora desk at that time. In Washington, it was introduced, and Ambassador Nestor Mendez penned the influential diaspora initiative, which laid the groundwork for the diaspora returnee incentive program at the time called DRIP. She worked in that office. She worked in that office. She was at that conference. I was at that conference in 2008 as the president of the Belize Association of Florida. And ladies and gentlemen, 255 people attended that conference of consulates, honorary consulates, and heads of organizations. Nothing ever come out of it. Nothing never come out of it. Other than the DRIP. Other than the DRIP, the Diaspora Returnee Incentive Program, and the organizations walked away with it, and they ran with it, and they spread it. They told every diasporan who wanted to return to Belize, get in touch with this lady, get in touch with Adalbert Tucker, and get an incentive. I could go on. I think I have laid the groundwork. Associations, ladies and gentlemen, in the diaspora. I spoke to one of my colleagues, and he said, Ray, you go to any event, look around people, and this is an event, look around. Where are the Hispanics? Where are the Mayans? Where are the mestizos? Sorry, not Hispanics. Mestizos, Mayans. Where are the Garifuna? Creoles. Creoles are the ones who step forward and support the events of the associations. And I agreed with him. I agreed with him. Is it because the Creoles are the ones who left Belize and left a family back home and sent remittances back home so that they continue to go to events within last $5 in the days gone by? Now it's $55 and $105 to go to an event, and they go. And they want table and chair. If you not got table and chair for them, they not come. They vexed you. Because this is part of the culture. And as associations, we need to recognize this. As associations, we need to recognize, yes, there will be organizations and associations that have special interests. But if there are organizations and associations that does not recognize the power and the influence of membership, we will not have a strong diaspora. Very important. Look at California. Is there any Belize association left in California? You have promoters and you have individuals that promote Belizean events. You have right now, this very weekend that we're having this, we have Hollywood, 11th annual Hollywood carnival happening here in Hollywood, California. And on Saturday night, how many of you all know that Belize will be spotlight? DJ Dollar coming from Belize, and Belize will be spotlight. Where are we? Individualization, it's all happening right now unless we hold hands and get together and form an association of members. We will not be strong.
Thank you. So, yes. So I do want to, for the purpose of time, we kind of got into like a lot of the topics that we will be talking about with this panel. So I did want to give our two panelists some space to also share, especially, conversations about what does it mean to be second generation, first generation, and then also your work in diaspora relations. So, yes.
Thank you, but I think that we've really gotten into the meat of it quickly. The only thing I would add is that growing up as a first-generation American in a household like I did, being steeped in it doesn't mean that it's transferred to you. So I think one of the themes that I'd love to explore today is this generation's connection to this history. What is it? Where does the information exist? I had to wait for my mother to be 70 years old to begin writing a book about my father's work in some of these organizations to even be aware of some of the things that Mr. Gongor is speaking to. And to know that not only were those organizations that were strong in the diaspora, but in Belize there were many efforts at the time before independence that were critical to laying that foundation. There were community-based organizations like I think it was called the Boys and Readers Group or something like that, and where young people returning home to Belize could come home after they graduated and debate important topics like the Webster proposals and really think about the future of Belize. And I don't know if that exists anymore. There was also the Freedom Committee founded by Compton Fairweather that was really taking Belize's issues to the United Nations and trying to establish a voice, right? And so that those community level efforts and that internationalism were foundations that my father picked up on in his work as an ambassador and as a community leader, and I learned from that, both sides, community level work and the importance of regionalism and the importance of voice in this space that we have out here. But again, how do we connect back to those original histories if they're not documented, if they're not shared, and there's no transfer of ownership and really power, community power? So that's one of the themes that I'm interested in.
So my answer is a lot simpler. I think we have gotten a lot of really good information and information that's really important for us to hear and know about. So like I said, mine is a lot simpler. I am a part of the diaspora. I live in Florida, and I have the same struggles like most of you here as being part of the diaspora. And this is why I do what I do, because I want to be able to be part of the solution. I want to be part of finding the solution. I don't want to be a part of reinventing the wheel. There is no need for us to recreate initiatives and situations, but let's move forward. Let's take what we have learned and move forward with it. This is why the Briceño administration has created the Diaspora Relations Unit. This unit is there to support and provide services to the diaspora. This is the first step in getting to where we need to get to. And what we are doing at this point is we are exploring a lot of different things about the diaspora. We're getting a lot of information about the diaspora. We're trying to understand what's going on in the diaspora. Who is out there in the diaspora? What are the numbers? What is everyone doing? I can tell you one thing that I have learned so far, being the ambassador, and of course with the support of the team at the Diaspora Relations Unit and under the guidance and leadership of Minister Mahler, we have learned that we have everything that we need for our country to progress, to grow, to become stronger. We have everything that we need right here in the diaspora. It's time for us to start taking action. Okay, we can, a lot of people have a lot of different qualifications, but it's time for us to keep moving forward, to take action, and to make things happen. This is why it's a step-by-step process. We will get there, but one step at a time, right? The Diaspora Relations Unit has been created. We are receiving a lot of support from our government. We have a very supportive government, and it's extremely important for that to be out there. So now we have a platform. Let's use it. The Diaspora Relations Unit is there to support, to provide support and provide services to our diaspora. We are encouraging investment in Belize. Who better to be a part of our country than our own people? All of us out here in the diaspora. We're promoting trade. We're promoting philanthropy. And you know what? Another thing is what I have seen so far. Man, we have a lot of generous people in our diaspora. With the support of Minister Mahler, we have been able to create a complete separate entity called Build Belize, Inc. Do you know, with the support of the Diaspora Relations Unit, working, collaboratively with Build Belize and raise part of the board, we have been able to raise collectively about $7 million US. We have been able to bring in donations of that value. That's a lot of money. That's a great big value, and that's all because of I should say us, right? Because I'm a part of the diaspora too. But it's because of all of us out here, and in such a short time we've been able to do that. Imagine what is waiting for us. Imagine what we can do together. But another thing is, and I was talking to Nuri about this earlier, we as a people, as the diaspora, we need to organize ourselves. We have a government that's willing to listen, okay? They want to know what it is that we want. But we, in the diaspora, we need to come together, okay? We need to organize ourselves and then bring forward what it is that we want. And I tell this to everybody that I meet. I get so many people that come to me and will tell me, I want to do this back home. I want to come home. I can do this. I have that. This is wonderful. But we need a plan, and we need to organize ourselves, and then we move forward. Because a lot of people have a lot of ideas, and it just doesn't go anywhere, right? And you have to remember, too, we are sometimes limited with our resources at home. And this is where we need to bring forward, the diaspora needs to bring forward how they can support some of those limited resources that we have. How can we bring our knowledge and expertise at home to support what we need at home? Because like I said, we have everything out here. We just need to bring it home now. But again, for me, one of the biggest things is organizing ourselves, and always what we have done at the Diaspora Relations Unit, we have always kept the lines of communication open. And that's what we continue. That's one of the biggest things that we want to do. Keep the lines of communication open. We are not, now the conversation has started. It's in the forefront. We have a platform. Let's keep it moving, okay? And stay open and always be respectful, right? When we bring our ideas and concerns and issues to the table. So that's my part on.
Thank you. I think the downside of having such a, an hour panel to talk about the history of Belize, right? We're doing like a lot of recovery work. We're thinking about the initial pioneers, the people that are still doing the work. Unfortunately, the people that have passed on and are being kept alive through these conversations, through storytelling, all of these things. So as I was taking notes, as you all were talking, some of the things that came to mind is erasure and time, right? So we're fighting against having these needs that we have now, right? And then also having to analyze who makes up Belizeans in the diaspora. Who are they? What do they do? What are their socioeconomic statuses? And then also thinking of how history is important and integral to this work, and how we might be able to think of diaspora beyond politics as well, right? So what are some ways that people are doing this? So we're in the portion of thinking more about the future potential and initiatives. And I wanted to get your thoughts about what has worked well in the past that you feel will be beneficial moving forward. Selfishly, one of the things I think about is technology, particularly Facebook groups, WhatsApp, all of these ways that people can stay in touch, and pretty much serves as this bridge between diaspora, people who cannot travel or people who cannot move. So just like, what are your thoughts on, the future of this? What are some things that have worked well that you would like to carry out in the future that you see being successful to kind of unite the diaspora for a better Belize and a better Belizean diaspora in the U.S.? That was a long question, but I can shorten it.
One of the things that I'm finding is being very, very effective is the social media. A look at Miss Earth, Destiny Wagner, who won that title. During COVID, people sat home, watched that beauty pageant during COVID, voted for her, created a noise. And you got to understand what's happening with social media, creating a noise. And she won that competition. Look at, you will say that, girl, say it loud. And she will be on the panel. Miss Belize Universe, the competition they had in Belize, and the noise that was created on social media that helped that individual who won the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, 2 Belizeans won Tony Awards. 2 Belizeans won Tony Awards. One young lady for 3 years nominated for the Tony Awards, and the noise that was, it spoke that Belizeans were creating consistently for Cara Young. She became the first black, they won't say Belizean, the first black person to be nominated 3 times for a Tony Award, and won the Tony Award the 3rd time. But Belizeans were creating a noise. If you don't know what AI is, and I don't know what AI is, I'm just learning about AI, artificial intelligence, that's what's happening, and that's what's going to need. We as individuals and an association, we need to tap into that. That's right.
Coleman Domingo.
Coleman. Yes. We're all over the place, and the noise is being created.
Oh,
All
very
right.
nice.
Okay, we got to get in touch, ladies.
And we have our very own producer, director of plays, right? He's amazing artist here. And what about Mr. Frankie Reno?
That's
What a
correct.
genius, right? Genius at his craft. So yes, we do have so many so many talented people within our diaspora. We need to harness all of that. Simone Biles, we could go on naming people all over. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you go ahead. No, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I was just, sure, yes, okay, thank you. I was just going to say, the future, the diaspora, keep us united. Just keep the lines of communication open. Okay? We have the diaspora relations unit. Use it. Please use it. Keep coming forward. Keep the lines of communication open. Keep the conversations alive. It should not, at this point, the conversation should not be dying out. The organizations should not be falling apart. We have everything we need to make things happen. And we really, really need to learn, we need to really, I need to put some emphasis on, we need to start trusting each other. We're all part of the same diaspora, the same community. We all love Belize the same way. And we all have the same goal. We want a strong, strong Belize, right? So we really need to start trusting each other and coming together to make things happen.
I want to mention something here that is dear to me and to most of you in this audience. Belize has experienced a genocide, an ethnocide over the last 40 years that has primarily impacted our young black male and young boys. We have lost probably between 3,000 to 4,000 young people since the mid-1980s to the current time. That is a definition of genocide and ethnocide, because it's a decimation of the culture. There have been many people who have stepped forward to try to contribute to solving these issues. Some of them are sitting in the audience here. I myself, I physically went to Belize in 2008 and volunteered for almost an entire year, working with Most High and several others in the community, going into the areas that nobody wants to go. You see, someone asked the question, where is the youth? Where is the young people? You must go where they are. When the Honorable George Price made his final visit here to Los Angeles, in 1991, I believe it was, or 92, Breda invited him and took him to Manual Arts High School to meet and speak directly with the young people there. And he took the invitation and he went. I respect that man. No leader is perfect, but I respect him for doing that, because that has never been duplicated since then. So there are many people in the diaspora who can contribute to this issue. And I am one of them. We cannot continue to accept this as a way of life, and there's nothing that we can do to resolve it. Most of the people in the prison is young black men. An entire generation has been destroyed. So we cannot accept that as, well, that's the way it is, and, you know, we begin to become comfortable with it. So one of the arguments that I've always heard is, well, it's happening all over the Caribbean. Is that the rationale? It's happening all over the Caribbean, therefore, okay. So it's okay? There's not a single family that have not been touched by this type of violence. Not a single family. All of us can identify some family member or somebody or some friends that we know that have been touched. And you know the old saying, if you don't out the fire in your neighbor's house, what happened eventually? It comes to you. So these are some of the issues that I believe we cannot shy away from, and the diaspora can play a significant role in that. And as the ambassador representative said here, that they are open and willing to listen and to hear. And those are words of encouragement that I appreciate hearing. So hopefully, when this is all over, we can come up with some initiatives that can have a direct impact on what is occurring in our homeland. Thank you.
Do you want to close us out? Because we're wrapping up. We'll have last remarks if anyone wanted to leave with the last remarks, but our time is coming up. But you have time.
Okay, I'll just quickly speak to that point. Thank you, Nuri, for that. I didn't think I would speak to this, but I have to share a small story. I remember I moved to Belize in my 20s, and I had no intention of starting anything, and I was working as a lawyer. And I had this small group of youth. I had this idea that we would create films, because at that time I was realizing that was something I wanted to do. I had begun to do, wanted to share. And we went to the prison and to do a workshop, and what we found was that we started sharing some poetry the young people had been writing to kind of work out their trauma, right? From, many of them were from the South Side. They just wanted to put some words to their pain, and they started sharing this poetry. And these young inmates, these young incarcerated men started coming around, and 2-3 dozen of them had these amazing poems that they had been holding, and no one ever given them permission to share, right? And that experience, again, I was working at Foreign Affairs at the time. We were looking at the prisons and the conditions there for young Afro-Belizean men, what could be done. And I said, wow, such a simple solution that people could support to create time and space. So I ended up creating this organization called Youth Voices, and we would bring slam poets from New York City down to Belize to work with the young people. And we had that organization. We also trained them in film skills and storytelling for about 5 years until I moved back to the States. But I share that experience because we've all named, and I hesitate to talk about this a lot because Belize has many development priorities and a very small population. You need people to consume art to make it economically generative, right? But that's not the only reason you create cultural strategies. You create them so you can define who you are, you can create social cohesion, and you can uplift young people so they can move up and decide and identify what their future looks like, right? And it's something I hold within me, close to me, but I know that with all of this talent here in these various industries, it can be harnessed for that good. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Yes, I will kind of piggyback on that as well. I think that's kind of like the frontier, right, of the youth, and thinking of maybe, traditional and non-traditional ways of engaging them and speaking to them through things like art, poetry, the digital space, all of these creative ways. And a lot of the youth actually, especially, being from Los Angeles, are really invested in these histories. They want to know more. While they're also partaking in things that bring them joy, and especially the world that we're living in now, making sense of their histories. So thank you. So we're at time, but I wanted to know, kind of pass it along, very brief kind of closing statements to close out this panel on pioneers, Belizean diaspora making, etc.
Well, I would just say that, I think it's very important that we keep the conversation going. And in order to do that, I would say, please just, on your way out, visit the Diaspora Relations Unit desk that we have set up outside. And they have a wealth of information to give to you. And also, if you can provide your information, we can make sure that we keep this going, we keep the conversations going, we keep the support going, and provide you with as much information as possible. And for you to always remember, there is a place for every single one of us in the diaspora. There is a place for us at home. We have the Diaspora Relations Unit. Please use it, and we're there to support you in any way that we can. Thank you.
I just want to share that I am a theater specialist. I do a lot of theater, Belizean theater. I'm involved with a group in Belize called the Optimist Club 501 Belize. And for the third year, this year in September, we're taking a play to Belize. The first one was called Kixie. The second one was One Man and a Treating. And this one coming up called The Royal Crofet. So if you listen to the name of the plays, it's dealing with social issues. And these plays have been very successful. We have traveled. We started touring the U.S. now. So successful, I'll share with you that our first production in Belize, that organization made $11,000 profit at the Bliss Institute. The second production took on excitement from the public. They made $17,000 to help and aid the projects that they're doing. And we're looking now at another sold-out production, already promoting Royal Crofet. Tell your people about it. Make them come out and see how Royal Crofet behave. Thank you. We could talk about it. Right.
In closing, I would first want to thank the organizers of this very important conference. I want to thank Brother Mose, who was the brainchild. I want to thank all the Belizean pioneers, those who are gone and those who are still here. You have contributed to the survival of Belize in ways that you can't imagine. And now it's time for us to remove all the impediments and reunite our people. The excuses are now out the door. Let's get it done, and let's move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we can give another round of applause for this excellent panel and our esteemed panelists. And we have a break until the next panel. Okay.
If there's one thing that Belizeans have is passion, a lot of passion, and they have a lot of pride in their history. So thank you so much for educating us. You've told me a lot of things that I didn't know about the history of the diaspora, and I'm very much looking forward to what is in the future. And I want to remind everyone that after the lunch break, we do have a panel talking specifically about political rights and advocacy. So that should be a hot one. So please make sure you come back after lunch. Before you all leave, I want to say that we very much appreciate you taking your time, you sharing your expertise, and we have certificate of appreciations for all of you. So thank you. And also, CEO, we have for you and your ministry as well. So I'll give these out, and as I give them out, let's give them a second round of applause. and then we'll turn over to our second panel of the day. Thank you. We're going to turn over to our second panel of the day, trying to move things right along. In our second panel, we're going to be focused on sports and the diaspora infusion. So at this time, I'd like to call our moderator, Evan Rose Hyde, to the table. Our panelists are going to be, don't forget your placards, Ambassador. Ambassador. You want to take your placards. We're going to call our panelists Greg Myers, Marvin Otley, Olin Simplis, to please join us on the panel at this moment. I'd like to call our moderator, Evan Mose Hyde, to the table. Thank you. We'd like to start our second panel now, please. Thank you. Thank you. Please have a seat. Please have a seat. We're starting with the second panel. Mr. Ray. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to now pass the floor over to our moderator, Evan Mose Hyde.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Everybody in the hall and everybody getting the stream, listening, watching. I noticed as soon as I say when I talk sports that some of the people think that means that the intermission. And right away it means that this is a necessary panel to have, make we understand the importance of sports and how important the diaspora has been to sports and what it has represented for us. So some of the people may step out, please step back in, because it's a serious conversation. Sports are life, the development of people. And nothing make me feel bigger and prouder than athletes and artists. 100% with that. So I'm glad for there with these honorable gentlemen for talk something where I care about one lot of my life and that sports. Actually, I resist being any kind of motivator, but then they say that sports and that you have to talk. Well, I'm glad idea now. I want you gentlemen to just introduce yourself, and then we could get into the conversation. I want to put some questions towards, So just introduce yourself, make the people know what's your role and what you're doing behind the desk.
Good morning, everybody. I'm very much humbled to be here. My name is Marvin Oakley, but I have to give a short story before I give all I do. Just back in when Orino Rio retired from playing. When Orino Rio retired from playing, there was a major gap in goalkeeping in Belize. There was no, he was so consistent. I'm not sure, maybe Bilal wants to correct me more, that Orin maybe have been best goalkeeper over 10 years in the country. And as a young player coming up, I am right? Yeah. As a young player coming up, there were goalkeepers older than me, but there were never that level of consistency. And so I start my journey because we were blessed or privileged to have Berger Field in our midst. And so we have seen all these superstars come into Berger Field. And after I reached at the top level in football in Belize, I myself become national goalkeeper for 6 years in a row. And so I didn't accomplish what Oreo accomplished, but that journey took me into Central America, and that is where the history of my career really take off. Presently, I'm the Deputy Director of the National Sports Council, and the National Sports Council is here presenting a fundraiser up. We managed to just slide in at this thing, because it's a business symposium and it's important, but you know how sports is there to our life, and so we want to see how we could link with the diaspora for more help. Like people say back home, maybe they could put their money where their mouth is, right? I think earlier something was mentioned very important. We tend to forget all the time the people that set the foundation. And I just yesterday get to meet Mr. Ferreira, and he told me about his history and how he got out here. And both of us mentioned Oreo. He grew up with Oreo, and he get on the phone and he called him right away. And so things like that in regards to the connection and how we could proceed forward to make things work between the diaspora and what we are doing at home, that is very important. So I just want to say, I hope our discussion could go as solid as previous, but that was some very good history just now. I don't think we could compete at that level, but hopefully we try.
We're going to give it the best shot, man. Sports. Brothers on the side.
How you guys doing? Good morning. My name is Olin Simplest. Like Mr. Hyde said, for me, sports is not just about the actual game. It's about life, developing character and all that. So when I was asked to be part of this, I dropped everything that I had scheduled this morning to be here because it's very important. Like basketball is what I do. I train 30 to 40 NBA guys, a lot of WNBA players, some of the top youth in America. And it's not about the game that I love when I'm interacting with these players. It's the opportunity to mentor and mold. And so when they told me and they reached out to me, I pretty much canceled everything I had this morning to be here. So being here, I'm honored, I'm humbled. I was on the 98,
you won the CARICOM championship.
Right, I was on that team that won. And since then, I've been trying to find a way to get back and be involved. And so as soon as I got this phone call, me and my wife canceled everything to be here. So I'm honored, I'm blessed, and whatever I can do moving forward after this, I'm all in. So appreciate you guys having me.
Morning, everybody. My name is Gregory Myers. I coach track and field. I'm retired from the U.S. Army. For the last, just after COVID, my son, I coach and train my son along with about 40 other young men in America. Over the past 15 years of coaching, I've sent off over 75 athletes on some sort of scholarship to universities here in the States. Currently, I'm working with a lot of the young people in Belize to get them scholarships to go abroad. I've sent off 2 already on scholarship. I'm working on 3 more this summer. I also am on the executive for the Belize Athletic Association. So while I speak often with Marvin and Mose over here, like Oren said, Olin? When I was asked to come, I dropped everything to be here. I was just in Belize, got home, flew here, leaving here momentarily to go back to Orlando to attend some more business, because in the background, the things that we were doing in the background, this is the symposium that I hope we could bring it to light. Because sports, to me, is more than just sports. And in Belize, we have an opportunity with sports to not just for sports, but for education, for tourism, for the general benefit of the entire country. We have an opportunity. We're in a very special time, and I can speak from my discipline, track and field, that we're at a very special time where we can make these things happen if we collaborate. And something that was said earlier about passion, we just had, within the Athletic Association, we had 2 of the best coaches from Jamaica, Jamaica's actual head jumps coach and their best high school track and field coach, come to Belize and give a workshop. And the one takeaway from what they said was passion. If you have that passion and you have somebody to drive it, all you need is one. So we're looking for that one to help drive this car to success, not just for a child or a few children, but for the country.
It's interesting on the panel, gentlemen, that we have Marvin, who is not a part of the diaspora. He's a part of the sporting infrastructure and ecosystem back home. And then we have with us Brother Simplice and Brother Myers, who have both done tremendous things abroad, have brought their energies back home. And this is the Diaspora, Belize Diaspora Summit. And what I want to throw out here is that, like in all other disciplines, right, there is a knowledge and expertise here abroad. And then many times, because of where I'm positioned in the media, when you guys come in, you come wanting to share knowledge, wanting to share expertise. That's what I generally experience. When our brothers and sisters come back home, they want to share knowledge. And then when they get in, there is an adjustment, like a reality check, because you don't always go how you feel is supposed to go. Like, why my knowledge can't get immediately incorporated and everything aligned to make we reach the greatness together? You end up with a lot of feel of the track, of the court energies when it got nothing to do with building success, and then you become frustrated. So I want to ask, starting with Greg and Olin, and then Marvin, you could speak as to, well, why mesh is the way it's supposed to mesh, why it is the knowledge, expertise where reside abroad is not being fully taken advantage of. So from your experience, talk to me, Greg. You feel the energy, or how you go?
everything you said is spot on 100%. 20 years ago, I had to give myself time, no, 26 years ago when I left Belize as a young, aspiring coach, even though I had success, it wasn't welcomed because if it was instead of the best interest of the children, it was the best interest of the persons, right? I'm going to take your position. That was my experience then. At that time, I made a pact with myself, and just, I don't want to go off the topic, but I made a pact with myself. One day it's going to be my turn with my own children. 20 years later, my turn with my children. And that gave me the avenue to come in and share, like you said, the knowledge that I've gained. And I think one of the things that needs to be not so much addressed, but dealt with immediately if we're going to start taking these steps forward with the talent that we have, because Belize is not short of talent. I could prove that time and time again. Anywhere I turn, I could pull any kid and I could give me the kid. Let me train him. And I'll show you what I can produce. And I've done it for 15 years straight. No matter where I've gone, I've found success. Not because it was talent-led, because we do things a certain way. And we collaborated. My friends in Jamaica, my friends in the States. We were just talking about this outside. We said, it's a small world. I know the world is big. But what happens is, as we start at the base and we build our knowledge, the world gets smaller. It's like a pyramid. Then when you get at the top, and I'm sure he could tell you, at the top of basketball, everybody knows each other. At the top of athletics, everybody knows each other. Those are my friends. Those are my colleagues. We share. And the number one thing we do is we share information. Yes, my kids, Dimitri, to compete head and head with all the best young people at Jamaica. But those coaches call me and ask me what I'm doing with them. When I have an issue, I call them. Yes, they compete against each other, but at the end of the day, it's the best interest of the child. So to answer your question is, instead of being the best interest of the person, so they could get the highlight of this, let it be the best interest of the child. Let that drive and be the fuel behind the passion. Because if I see Brother Orlin here knows better than me to deal with something, how you do that? And not take offense to it, right? And be able to share it back and forth. So that's my experience. It happened to me, but I had the wherewithal, good fortune to be in a position to withstand the outside pressures, to push away, right? Not everybody has that. So again, that's my experience in the best interest of the child. And I think that's the path forward.
Wow, so I haven't experienced to the extent that you guys have because I haven't been back as often. But I can speak on the personal experience when I came out here in '98. Half the country welcomed us. We were considered outsiders. The other half didn't, right? Did and didn't. So they didn't realize back all the players that were sacrificing to be here for the Belize, the name on the front of the jersey. So with that being said, as the years went on, I've reached out my honest Kim Simplest. I've tried to do certain things to get back. So there's one word that he continuously uses, collaboration. In order to collaborate, you have to drop your ego, right? You have to trust. And with that being said, you have to put others first. And for me, being a young kid, I was 20, 21 at the time. I was a father as well. Being out here for a couple months, I didn't feel welcome where I was born. And some of the other players didn't feel welcome as well. And so I've gotten information over the years that a lot of it, there's ulterior motives at the top, as opposed to, like he said, let's put the kids first. Let's utilize sports. Let's come together. Let's really be a strong nation, because as he said, there's talent. When I came out here, there was kids barefoot doing stuff that we couldn't do in sneakers, right? There's talent out here. And one of my biggest goals have always been life goals is this right here. How can I get back? How can I get back? How can I be an extension of the country to give our kids more opportunities? And it's always met with something. And so for me, collaboration is the word, but in order to collaborate, egos have to be dropped, right? And trust have to be formed across the board. And so that's been the thing that I think is the biggest obstacle for us, would be that.
Most glad this is the topic. I hope that everybody will understand it well,
Go through.
because this is our main problem, I believe. And I will say it like this. The reason why
Stay right there at the mic so then you're good.
the reason why the resources when you come home don't have access to our athletes is because of the personalities within the federation. And we're not for shy away from that. That is the reality. I will give you a quick short story. I had a 11-year playing career. And I now am on my 26th year as one of the top coaches in the country, I would think. I am one of the most qualified coaches in the country. Not only in coaching, but also in coaching education. 2 years ago, the Federation invested over $20,000 in me, Football Federation. I haven't worked for them since. So they invested in me, and they decided that they don't need my service at all. So it's the personalities within the Federation that cause this problem. And it's not a gap, That just that sometimes either the president or the general secretaries of the Federation believe that Greg want to do too much, and they say, you know what, keep him out. That's the problem we have. Shared resources is very important in our sports, similar to what Greg said. If you want to be one coach on the international scene and you could go back to Belize and share enough knowledge, that will also help to improve us, right? And so said the same thing. Collaboration. Every Central American country right now, and I just want to share this so people could know, most very important. Belize is a part of SICA, which is the Central American Integrated System. And there is the body called CODICADER, which is Central American Sports for schools at the primary and secondary school level. And every country within Central America is willing to share not only information, but willing to accept Belizeans in the respective country as sporting and cultural exchange, right? And at that level, at the CODICADER level, the high school sports have their own organization. At the primary school sports, the National Sports Council do take care of that part. So it's easier at that level. But we don't have a lot of parents who is willing to send their children at the primary school level to one of these countries for a period of time. It is much easier for a high schooler to go. Actually, at present, Nicaragua want to accept minimum 10 athletes in Nicaragua for a minimum of 6 months. But they want to know what we want, what we will do in return. We are working out to see how we could get coaches coming in from Nicaragua. And they do have specialists in different areas. If you know, Nicaragua is one of the bigger countries in Central America in baseball and in boxing, right? And so it's things like this, but the federations believe that the spotlight is on them. The spotlight have to be upon the athletes. The spotlight have to be upon the growth and whichever respective sport we deal with. And that means expertise coming from abroad. And if we have the wealth within the diaspora to come back and bring that among our wealth and help develop with athletes and could get them further. That piece, like Mr. Nouri mentioned earlier, we need to strike it out. And so if this symposium will help for make we could change that, that is exactly what we need to do. And this conversation not come up to Belize. Most of the federations afraid to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. I have promised my federation that every opportunity I get, I will talk about it. because we have to cut it out. We have a lot of good athletes that left the country because of that kind of situation. And they come out here and they do their best they can. Almost 2 years ago, Minister Rodwell Ferguson had a symposium. And this is how great collaboration could work. He just come up and he say, you know what? I need for we do a sports symposium. Coming out of that sports symposium, we invited, at National Sports Council, we have 41 registered federations with us and associations. Coming out of that symposium, the U.S. government, the Peace Corps, is now on its second batch of Peace Corps volunteers in the country, which will take the number up to about 32, working within the primary school structure to improve primary school sports in the country. Where is the federation? Nowhere near. The one that worked the closest with us is volleyball. They always lend us the support and the expertise. But the others, no. And so I'm really glad that this question come up more.
All right. Let me ask now, again, this is the Belize Diaspora Summit. And they have, with due respect, they set aside a panel for talk about sports. And I rate that because they give sports a rightful place on a stage like this. You know, very often one event like this talk sports. So, one little bit of progress. When we talk about the diaspora, I want to ask both Brother Greg and Brother Olin, and I never do a good enough job of make we understand. Sorry, Marvin. We know your pedigree as a goalkeeper and everything, but again, me and you are not from the diaspora. We there to raise up the diaspora, make we understand what we have access to. So, Greg, one Easter Monday, I gone online, find out that some 17-year-old boy were born younger, about 15 or 16 at the time, got 13. Put out one, I couldn't even say the name correct. Somebody said, who this little boy? Where gone the Carefta Games and beat everybody. I gone on YouTube and the little boy run left everybody. You would have thinking that he wanted to do the race. Only care the long and short of the story is that Greg's son, Greg trainer, nobody named me know they going there, put Belize pan in chest, and win one goal for we and make we look good and happy now Easter Monday after we just don't lose the garland again. The Saturday I done the cry, and then Easter Monday, my youth, I my whole family gone and make we feel better about ourselves and we never knew them before. That is specialness of the diaspora. But that story never that story by itself may be good enough to make we feel good, but then I find out that the man behind that, the only thing about for him picnic, for him big mission is to make sure that every picnic that believes we got that kind of gift, they look the same way and do the same thing and make we beat Jamaica one of these days when we watch Olympics when they talk about Jamaica, we are bomb that. That's for him vision. That's for him vision. And I don't have one single conversation with him yet where he not tell me that they happen. I just meet this man, here when they go and go panel. Boy, I got some big news, what shall I tell you? Things they happen, he can't control himself. Just me about some coach or some, that things where you might not think grand, but that will make the thing happen. That will hold success, that the recipe for success, glamour. That a lot of going to work, a lot of the things there behind the scene, big respect. They don't know small, tiny on the end of the desk, that's what I try to say. But I simply just make a put this to you that since you start playing in the league, gone, come back to friend, I don't see you till just now, right? Years I don't see you. But a year ago, you are now called the God Whisperer. That's the way they don't believe semi-pro league, they call on the God Whisperer, guard. Cannot say it in a Creole, you might think that it's about God. Guard, meaning a point guard and shooting guard in basketball. He's called the God Whisperer by the professionals in the United States of America. That he in the whisper to talented players out here, they understand how to become so good that you make millions of dollars playing basketball. He in that. You know who he in whisper to? The NBA type, the WNBA type. We want to know why we can't make sure he can believe at least 2 times for the year can whisper to we. Why that enough for we highest priority? So, I want to hear from both of you, if you get our respect for dictate how we set up things here, the yard, based on the expertise we have, which I give mad respect for. And we shouldn't have so much ego and vanity that we can't say, one man know a lot. Uno know things where one lot that we don't. And we proud to know that Uno look back and know ourselves, believe in Uno. So we lucky. What Uno that do? If Uno get the right stage and the right control, how Uno that shape things with sports coming out of the diaspora to Belize?
Mose, to answer your question is very simple, you know. And I know I talk my broke-up Creole. But when I call, answer. Because I know to call you for no reason. I call you because I got something to happen. As you said, my prime mission started not yesterday, but 24 years ago when somebody told me no. I said, Life had its journey for me that shaped my resolve, right? I was in the U.S. military. I retired after 7 years because of my injuries from the military. Not because I didn't do it, because I was there and done that. Then I went to Wall Street. And then 9/11. All of these things shaped me to who I am today. Right? Growing up in New York, coming to Belize every summer for my entire life, shaped this direction. And I tell people this all the time. Out of my entire family, my family, big, I can probably relate to most of the people are wrong and are wrong, right? I'm the least talented person, but yet I got a full scholarship to go to this university, at Rutgers University. My children have the same talent. They're not very fast, but we found their niche. How do we shape that everybody could get it? Peace, right? We're trying to make this that everybody could get this. Pick up the phone, answer the phone call. No. We have all these persons here. We have this platform. I think personally that we try to bite off more than we can chew. And I say that because I want to change the country. But I can't bite off the whole country. I can't change everybody's mind. So I'm going to start with one and then make it 2 or 3. The persons who answer my phone call are the ones that we're working with every day. And we're moving and shaking. And eventually, everybody else will come along. My sport is not a money sport like basketball. But yet, the NIL money is there. That knowledge of knowing how to access that is key. Every day, I'm on the phone with somebody from Adidas or Puma. They work. Somebody from Puma has already approached me. I want to give me $50,000 to have Dimitri represent Puma. I know what my son is worth. And what his worth is in the grandest scheme of things coming down. I know what Brooklyn Little is worth, and Brooklyn Little just won the U.S. High School National Championship for the long jump. I know what their worth is. They are historically great, not in just America, in the world. How do we utilize them, their talent, their mission, their hard work, to show that this is what it takes? Because Dimitri didn't start running when he was 13. Start when he was 7. The fruits started bearing at 13. And I'm sure Olin could tell you the same thing. The biggest thing is that we have to understand that we have to work together. You have to answer the phone. And when we move it, please follow along, because the work that we put in to do what we did now is not yesterday. These collaborations, these colleagues that we have, the relationships that have been built, has been built on time, energy, and effort at great expense. It is not cheap to train an athlete. I can only speak about track and field. It's not cheap because we have to get there. Eventually it'll pay off, but it won't. But again, answer that phone call, because we're doing, and we're not the only ones. There are other coaches out here. We got coaches at St. John's and this place and that place. We're not utilizing them. Answer the phone when they call. And they've all tried. But so maybe it's somebody like me to knock down the door, because I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. And I'll move a mountain or die trying moving that mountain. But we could do it.
Respect.
For me, it's real simple. I'm blessed to work with a lot of quality guys. I'm already working on some things that some of you guys probably don't even know, like bringing a couple of my players to Belize, run a off-season training camp there for them, and then have some of the young locals, kids, wherever we can find them, come observe. Because I believe if you can see it, you start like that match, you start being around it. It's the information. It's not actually how long I can spend with a player. It's the information they can receive, whether it's 2, 3, 4, 5 days. So a couple of my guys, we've talked about going out there in September, so we're still trying to do that. So to answer your question wholeheartedly, it's, for me, give me the gym. You give me the gym. Is the Civic Center still available? Give me the gym. Right? Like, give me the gym 1 week in the summer. I'll have guys down there. All my guys, like you said, they make millions. So to your thing, the millions, NBA guys get a certain type of label. I don't work with those labels. All the guys I have are quality human beings and want to give back. So for me, it's just give me the gym. Give me a week. I'll bring some guys down there. They'll probably bring their sponsorship, shoes, whatever the case may be, and having these kids in that environment, because I do it every year anyway. I go to China, we go to Dubai, we have countries come out here, work with us. So I have every other country doing it but my own, right? So, and then we schedule where we do something where they come to the States, spend a week with me in the States, right? And then it just it's like a snowball. Start small, and then you just start growing. Because I'm doing a camp now that I'm actually supposed to be at, where I have 60 kids there now, and I have 3 NBA guys working out alongside the kids. So in a week time, am I going to help them get better? Yeah, nay, maybe. But what they're receiving is the information, the level of intentionality that these guys work with, the level of detail, the focus, the work ethic. And I think that's what we can do, so these kids start seeing it, and the more they see it, the more they want to become it, that fire, and then next thing you know, our players are evolving and growing. I'm blessed enough to work with a couple kids that are on the 17U team. And once again, like, I haven't had a lot of time to give back or get back, but I do represent Belize to my fullest. It's on my Instagram page. It's on all my social media platforms. So when the U.S. whipped our butt last week, I got a lot of shit talking at the gym. So I'm here. I'm in it. I deal with it every day. So give me the gym for a week. Let's work together, and then let's start figuring out a way we can start getting these kids to me in the States. And we start taking tour universities. Just start putting them in environments where they can start dreaming, right? Let's start dreaming and know that you can do this as well, right? Because like I said, the biggest thing to me when I was going around the city, when I was out here on our days off, was watching these kids play basketball, the agility, and I know it's a soccer, soccer's a big foundation, so that's the best foundation of any sport. So these kids are extremely talented. Let's get them to start dreaming a little bigger, right? And being around it allows that.
Well, the big question mark about a summit, Marvin, that always whether or not you want BS Fest or real things want to come out of it. So we got a chance here to make something real happen. But I simply say you want a gym for a week.
That's confirmed. That's
Confirm.
a problem. Yeah.
He got a Civic.
I let it be known that the deputy director had the talk, right?
The deputy director.
That's not a problem.
He got a Civic for a week.
Yes. Just provide us with the date, and we work with the Civic. And we
with the AC on.
With the AC on.
Okay. let me ask this. As we notice, I could see the people in the state are people who love sports, right? And we love win, and we love the games, that's for sure. But from a two vantage point, and we touch upon it, especially with the NIL, what that mean for we youth if we able for could really just put in our work for get the NIL accessible, make people understand back home. Because at least America understand what a game changer the NIL is. I think we still there behind to try to figure out what that is. So I'm ask both I know if kind of use this platform to kind of enlighten people about the game changing aspect of NIL and why we should be now more than ever driven to maximize upon the gifts where we youth then come blessed with.
I guess let me start because I'm really not a big NIL fan, so I'll let him finish with that. Here's why.
Yeah.
I want these kids to get their value, most definitely, no doubt. But what do we say a lot of times when these big athletes older get that $1 million contract? They take their foot off the gas. They get content. I want kids that are hungry, stay hungry. So like even our draft guys, this year had 18 kids in the draft workouts. 5 will be lottery picks. We didn't do NIL for them. Their NIL is training with me for free. So we want guys that want to focus on the sport, develop, grow, because it's greater later. But I'll let him do the education because I don't really deal with it. I don't like it. Because now, is it a great resource? Of course. But in the States, it's a little different. I don't want kids to come in here with this entitlement attitude. I don't deal with it. So those that are chasing NIL money is not for me.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we get it organically, let's roll. But I'm not out here chasing it. So I want kids that want to use this round ball because sports at the end of the day is a connector, right? Whether you become a professional at that sport or not, it's teaching you to be a professional at something. So those are the type of players we deal with and we want. That's why I said with the NBA guys I deal with, some of them are max contract guys. They're humble, quality human beings. Those are the type of kids I deal with. So those chasing NIL is not for me.
Right.
So I'll let him speak on that.
Well, NIL, obviously every discipline is different, right? Basketball is organically a money sport. Athletics is not, right? Volleyball is not. Those things are not money sports where we could say we have a professional career after college. So NIL, for somebody like my son, right? He more than likely will be a professional track and field. Knock on wood, injuries and so on and so forth. But for the most part, 99% of all track and field athletes, only 1% make money. And the same thing with basketball and football, whatever. It's only a very minute percent, but that's more visible and it's a lot more of it. Whereas in track and field, it's not. So NIL, for our athletes, and track and field is one of those sports you can't ever take off your foot off of the gas, right? You could get away with talent only so far because the training is a very tiered, structured, discipline. And if the moment you stop perform, money is gone. So if you want to maintain your, NIL is a prime source of income for a person in athletics, right? Especially at the youth, not youth, but high school, going into college. So how do you access NIL? You have to have a value. You have to have a face. You have to have something to sell. Far too many times people get caught up, oh, if I just run good or I just perform well, I want to get my money. They want to know that you're getting good grades. Because if you're not getting good grades, you're not going to University of Florida or Arizona or Tennessee because they require good grades. That's number one, first thing. So once you get past the grades, then they want to make sure that you're a quality human being. They're going to monitor your social media pages. They want to see what kind of information you, the young athlete, is putting out into the world. If you have all the drama and this and that, because they're utilizing your name and image likeness. So if your name is tarnished, they're not going to pay you. If your image is tarnished, they're not going to pay you. And I could speak from experience like with my son. Most track and field athletes that are very successful are exceptionally high aptitude persons. So he's a 4.26 GPA student. He have no trouble getting into any school. But Dimitri is a very humble individual. He's very internal. He doesn't process. He's not big to the crowd and all of that. In this past Carifta, leading up to it, I said, son, we're getting interest. But we have to start showing ourselves to the world, endearing ourselves to the world, right? So I said, if you find yourself in a position at Carifta, play to the crowd. Don't be disrespectful, but play to the crowd. And the man has come wrong and had the race in a hand. He turned wrong and he looked at me. He winked. That's Kojak. Kojak would sit right there. Watch out. He just looked at me. I said, uh-oh. The man to play the crowd as he run past. That's what the NIL, he's building his profile. Somebody from a small country that has not had very much success on the international level. In most sports, here comes a young man to stand up the entire Caribbean, right? That's what the NIL is. Your name, image, and likeness. Can they sell it? Can they use it for a product? Can you sell a shoe? Can you sell a brand of shirts? Dimitri to wear this shirt, I want to wear this shirt. Dimitri to wear their shoes, I want to wear those shoes. Right? Belize is a small population, for the most part, in Belize. But how many of us are in the diaspora? I can't tell you. My phone is buzzing in my pocket off the hook. I guarantee 15 or 20% of that are young people trying to find out from me how I could coach them to be like Dimitri. From in Belize and here in the States. How can I get them to compete for Belize? So, name and image likeness. What can your name, image, and likeness sell? The greater the product, the greater the potential, the greater the value, right? And I understand 100% what he's saying, because some sports, you need that hunger, or else you take your foot off of the gas. But each sport is different, right? I would say baseball, football, and basketball are the money sports, right? Even cricket you could put in there, but we don't really talk about cricket, but cricket is the big money sport. Those sports you don't see too much of the NIL money going there, except for the greedy ones. The other sports, dependent on the NIL, actually get a platform.
Do you guys see potential for, just as we have the wider summit that features people in various disciplines and others, whether tomorrow there is going to be an investment summit. Today's sports let us panel as part of the overall day of conversation surrounding the summit. I want to say advantage for try create one network of people who have this knowledge in athletics and sports here in the diaspora, so that at the very least we got one directory of the people who are doing work. As you think, I think you referenced people who might be coaching at the high school level, who are either Belize or Belizean descended individuals, people who are past athletes. Do you see that as something that maybe coming at a summit you can try to navigate, even if it's just right now the two of you, to start to build something like that? Do you see an advantage to that?
100%. In my opinion, if we're going to move sports in Belize and move Belize in general, economically, education, sports, it's going to have to come from the private sector. Government only could do so much, and if we depend upon government to do it, if we're going to wait on government to do it, we can't let government change. Government could come, government can go. I know they're going away. That's why I said answer the call. Right?
Answer the call.
Answer the call, because I'm not going anywhere. Regardless of government, we all have our government affiliations and whatever. But this transcends government, and it's going to take the private sector. I point to reason. If I want to build a stadium in Belize, which we're working on right now, which is one of the reasons why we're all here, no FIFA, World Athletics will not invest in a government-owned facility. They will not. They will invest in a facility that is owned by the government, but partnership with a private company. where they give out the lease, which is something that we have to bring to the table. You want Olin to come and run, not Olin, but his company or his consortium, his colleagues, run Civic and bring international tournaments and get the support of FIBA and NBA, anybody else? Well, you're going to have to relinquish daily control. You own the property, but you let us do what we do. We're not successful for no reason. Like we do it, I believe, it's an easy thing. But it comes from the private sector. It will have to come from the private sector. It is not the government responsibility to do any of this. It's a government responsibility to support the knowledge and the resource to come in and do it, right? Just like the associations, as we talk, because I sit on the Belize Athletic Association. My job on the Belize, our job is to be administrators, not a track club. We're not a track club. We're the administrators of athletics in Belize. Certify officials, certify coaches, ensure, sanction the meets, not run the meets, sanction. That's what we're asking for. Sanction the private willing to do the work. We're going to get it done.
Olin?
I mean, he pretty much said everything. There's nothing left for me to say, but no, it definitely benefits, right? His first word when he started was collaboration. And taking this meeting here, us exchanging numbers and whoever else, and let's start collaborating, building, and getting to know each other, and let's really do this thing and not talk about it. I'm from the show me state. You know, we could talk all day, but let's start getting stuff done. And like you said, it starts here, collaborating and building things together for sure. So I 100% agree with him.
All right. Time has been lost, but definitely not wasted, because I don't know about those who have stayed, but I have enjoyed and I have been enlightened. I give thanks for your participation, and we got to give thanks to you all for really sharing knowledge in a deep way and establishing that for all future summits, they better have one sports panel, and the next time, hopefully, we'll have 5 of you guys from the diaspora on it. No disrespect, Marvin.
That's all right.
You have any final thoughts? Keep it short because we're out of time. I understand.
Just to share more, a very important this time, very important piece of information. Because sometimes we're lost away that we think we are not a part of what Central America have to provide. I have to boast that Shane O'Reilly is a product of my hands. I trained him from a young boy, and he went out in Central America and won championships in all 3 Central American countries, right? And because I choose to stay at home and continue work with people at home, that doesn't discount the fact that the network between home and the diaspora, especially in sports and in sports tourism and sports as an industry back home, the collaboration and communication have to get better to ensure us to have a better product out there.
I want to keep the car. I want to keep the knock down the door. Some people might not like it. Maybe I'm a little bit aggressive, but that's the only way we're going to get where we need to go. We can't, this is not a passive world, and dollars have to make sense in order to make dollars. So we have to start making sense. Have to start making sense. And I want to keep the push. Don't worry. I will always be pushing. So.
I know faces with names now, so I expect everybody up here to do their part. That's it. I don't have much to say. Let's get stuff done. Let's stop talking. Let's get stuff done.
Respect.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for taking their time and expertise. Similarly, I would like to give you certificates of appreciation, gentlemen. I would like to go ahead and give you certificates of appreciation for your time. And we are going to now take a break and reconvene at 1:20 with panel 3 that's going to be talking about political rights and advocacy of the diaspora. Panel 4 is going to be Belizean youth in the diaspora. And panel 5 is forward focus. And then we're going to have an open discussion. So I'll see everyone back here at 1:20. Thank you so much.